Hi YouTube, how everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I just wanted to say hello. Making this is my appearance. This is a duplicate video. Um, yeah, and the topic is about being human, a human being. So yeah, what it's like and some of the things that we experience, often, just everyday routine kind of things, is what I'm referring to. So some of the things we experience, sorry about that. So yeah, this is a duplicate topic, and yeah, so you know, sorry. One second, please. Okay. Yeah. So we're all human beings, and we, excuse me. Um, yeah, we're all human. I like to first say, I learned a lot about what being human is like as a kid, and I'm sure others have too, but sometimes, I like to just kind of review some basics as such, just to help keep me mindful. And yeah, so it's a topic or topics that, I wanted to verbally share. And yeah, that's why I thought to do this video. So yeah, um, yeah. So we're all human beings, and yeah, we're all human beings, and that's how the Creator created us, to be. And you know, that's human-like, Yeah, that's human-like, to be human. We all are, because we're all human. So yes, so we all are different. Yeah, he created us that way too, and we all think differently. We do things differently, and we're just different. But you know, because we're different, um, that also makes us all unique, and special. So it helps, you know, with just being human. The fact that we're all different. We're all different for a reason, for God purpose, that He wanted us to be all different. So that's helpful itself. And one reason, you know, why we are different. It's helpful that we're all different. I can imagine how boring it would be. The world, if we were all the same. Just the thought of that. yeah, I can imagine why, I can see why that is a good thing, you know, the fact that we're all different. So, yeah. Now, you know, we all have our own individualized characteristics and traits, you know, and the both is what helps us all to be unique. Just, yeah, it's how He created us as human beings. So, because we're human beings, we all have different strengths and different areas we can improve. And that's also another human being factor, that's how He created us as human beings. And, yeah, we are like them, and so because we have areas that we can improve, you know, that suggests and is, a fact according to God and His Word that, we're not perfect. Yeah, yeah, because we have areas that we can improve in. That again, it's like saying that, we're not perfect, and that's a fact according to God's Word. And God also says that, we will never be perfect, in the human aspect, even when we make improvements. And so, yeah, um, that's how He created us. And so, um, another way to, for example, that is, repairs with how we're not perfect, is the fact that, you know, we as human beings, we make mistakes. That's how He created us as well, according to Him. Again, we make mistakes. That's a fact, and the truth is, we will always make mistakes. As human beings, and so yeah, the two pair, um, not being perfect and making mistakes. And so that's human-like, and again, that's how He created us, and so, um, you know, but for me personally, when it comes to mistakes or making mistakes, what I often, you know, remind myself, um, is that, because I'm a human being like anyone else, that, I too make mistakes. And, but I try not to make mistakes. And when I do, um, I try to make, normal or small mistakes, So, yeah, yeah, he says we're gonna always make mistakes. But again, for me, my goal is to, that when I do make, I always hope to make ones that are normal or considered small or considered normal. So yeah, so yeah, I always just try to stay mindful of that. So um, what helps me to make normal or mistakes that are considered small or considered normal is I like to put thought um, into what I do before I do things, you know. Yeah, when I do that, again, that helps me to not only make less mistakes or normal ones or small ones, it also helps me to make decent and reasonable decisions and choices. So yeah, that's just for me personally, and so yeah, and I'm sure others would probably agree for themselves as well. You know, they'd rather do the same as well. So when it comes to mistakes or making mistakes, you know, so yeah, yeah, I like to give a couple examples to help explain how we do things differently, and it again pairs with how we are all different as well. You know, um, one example is, you know, for example, when doing a task, you know, no, any task, you know, um, there are many times, you know, when there are more than one ways to do or complete a task. You know, that's a lot of the time, you know. And when a person chooses to do or to complete a task their way versus another way, it does not mean that that person is doing the task wrong necessarily. You know, it just means that the person chose to do the task the way they wanted to, you know, and we all as human beings do that. You know, that's another part of what being human is, you know. Yeah, we all do that. That's normal. With that said, it's okay. Yeah, there's many ways to do things or to complete things. And again, a lot of the times, you know, our most, you know, it's not a matter of right or wrong, you know, or how a task is done, that is being done right or wrong. It's more of a personal preference, you know, and we all, as human beings, we all have our own personal preference or preferences to how we do things, you know. So yeah, that's how that goes, you know. It's again, that's another part of being human, you know. And so yeah, it doesn't matter how a task is done. What's most important is, you know, that the task is done and done correctly. You know, that's what matters. You know, and or how it's done the way we want them done. You know, so It's just, it depends. It's different for everyone, again, and all of that pairs with the fact that, again, we're all different and we do things differently. So, yeah, it's okay. And so that's how that go, and what human beings do. So, um, another example is, for example, when driving and reaching a destination. Um, two, it, it doesn't really matter what source of transportation, it's more about reaching a destination, and so many times, um, there are several routes or routes to take or to use to reach a destination, you know, and because a person choose a route or route they prefer to reach a destination versus another route, it does not mean that person is going the wrong way to get to that destination. It just simply means, again, the person chose the route they wanted. And again, we all do that as human beings. I do that myself. I like to take routes or routes that I like to take, and we all as human beings do that. That's another example of a personal preference, and again, we all have our own. And so that's normal. That's okay. It's not a right or wrong, it's a preference. And so again, it doesn't matter which route or route a person takes to get to a destination. What's most important is that the person reach the destination, and that's what's most important. So yeah, we all do that. That's part of being normal. And two, what I want to say is the truth of the matter is we do everything the way we want to do them. That goes with really anything. Yeah, we all have our own way of how we want to do things. We all operate accordingly for what's best or how it's best for us to operate, and that's normal. That's again another aspect to what being human consists of, and we all are like that. So it's okay. It's not a big deal. Those kind of things, they're not a big deal. See, so we all do that. So yeah. Two, what I like to kind of discuss is, you know, how we as human beings, how we respond, just to regular everyday things, yeah, just our everyday routine of things that we do, normal ones, with that said, and I just like to say that, being a responsible adult, I can definitely understand what that's like, I, I've always been an adult that, always was busy, always on a schedule, and always having to keep track of things. So for me, that is, and have always been very, like, basic and normal, so, again, I know what it's like. And so, um, too, I also know that sometimes, just doing all of that, it can be a little hectic, and so, yeah, and it's sometimes it's the same for others, it's, yeah, it's, that's kind of like normal. And so, yeah, but, the thing is, we all demonstrate different actions, um, that will support, busy or on a schedule, or that we may just be having some issues, and so everybody demonstrates different actions, and that's normal. It's just different for everybody, and so um, but for me personally, um, a couple of the actions that I tend to demonstrate, either, you seldomly when I do is either giving the appearance to be a little distracted, or the appearance of being a little forgetful, and so yeah, that's just for me personally, and so, but others demonstrate either action as well, uh, that's again another factor that comes with being human and a human being. We we do that. That's a lot of it is just because we're human, and it's why we experience either. And so it's different for everybody. As I said, some experience it more than others. With that said, and some experience actions that are more serious or considered more serious. It just depends. It's different for everybody. Now, I think the more important thing to be mindful of about all of that, especially when suggesting someone is not responsible or is not a responsible adult, is the kind of things they appear to be either distracted or forgetful about. And yeah, for me, you know, um, they're small things, yeah, they're just small things, things that are considered normal, just things that are not a big deal, you know. And so, because they're small things and things that are not a big deal, that just means, I'm a responsible adult. And so, yeah, um, even for those, or some that experience it more, um, either action, it doesn't necessarily make those individuals not responsible. It's just, again, it's different for everyone. And that applies to for some who experience, other actions that may be more serious or considered more serious. Two, doesn't necessarily make them not responsible. So it's just all of it. It's just different for everyone. We're all different, and the truth of the matter is, again, a lot of it, um, for many, um, it's experienced. All of that is just experienced, just simply because of being human, a human being, and that's normal. Yeah, we're again, we're not perfect. We make mistakes, and all of that ties together. That helps to explain, why we make mistakes and how we're not perfect. And so, yeah, we're not robots. We're not machines. We're not programmed in that kind of way. And again, that all helps explain, again, why we're not perfect and how we make mistakes. And so, all of those are human being factors. And a lot of the times, it's just simply because, of being human. Now, um, everyone will judge all of that differently. For example, there are some who would say that those actions are big mistakes, and then there are others who would say those actions are small or normal mistakes. And the thing about that, though, is that one, you know, everyone have the right to choose for themselves which it is for them, And two, again, the truth is, the simple truth of the matter is, a lot of it, again, a lot of times, is just because of being human. That's just the reality that comes with being a human being. See, so um, yeah, those are just realities. They're just realities of what human beings, for examples of how we, the kind of actions we display as human beings. It's normal. It's okay. It's okay to be human. It's okay to be normal. It's okay to make regular mistakes, small mistakes. That's what we do as human beings. See, so that's the point. And so yeah. Two, what I want to say is, as I mentioned, just because I seldomly display either actions that all other human beings do, it is not a reason for me not to work. Yeah, I have to still work, and this is the point I want to make. Again, I'm no exception. I'm like anyone else. I have to provide for myself and help provide for my family. You know, and yes, I don't want to give anyone the thoughts that any of that, uh, or any of those actions, are reasons not to work, because they're not. And so, yeah, I just want to, make that clear. Two, what I want to say is, there also are scriptures in the Bible about working, the importance of working. But I don't want to discuss them in this video, and but what I want to say is this, I'm not only a firm believer in reading the Bible and reading scriptures, I also believe in doing what the Bible says, especially when it comes to working. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah, it is just as important for me to do what the Bible says as well. Um, Again, when it refers to working, as it is reading. And yeah, I also want to be a doer as well, of the word, Um, again, referring to working, yeah, that's very important to me, always have been. But that's it, yeah, it's good to read, you know, but again, it's also just as important to be a doer and to do. So this is all I think I want to discuss about, all of that. And so, yeah, yeah. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off for now. And I hope everyone continue to have a good day. depending on how soon this video uploads, you know, I'll upload another one. So, um, yeah. So, if I'm not today, it'll be tomorrow. So, I'm hoping by next week that will improve.